Alright, hello. This is the first video of my Algebra 2 video series. I'm Mr. Lucas. If you're one of my students, you should be watching this video after I've assigned it. If you're not one of my students, well, I'm glad that you're watching it, and I hope that you get something out of it. I hope it helps. Now, before I get started on this first video, I wanted to lay out a couple of things that I want you to do while you're watching. First, I think it's a good idea if you have your book open and you're following along as I go. My examples are not straight out of the book, but having the book open while you listen to these videos and while you watch what I'm doing will help. I mirror it pretty closely, but I'm not exact. There are some things I will skip over, there are some things I will go more in depth with, but having the book will be very helpful. The other thing that I would like you to do is to take notes. I know it might seem counterintuitive to watch a video and take notes, but believe me, when we're in class and we're working on these things, it will be very good for you to have something to refer back to since you won't be watching the video in class as we go. Now, this first video deals with section 1.2 of our textbook, pages 10 through 13. This section is over expressions. Now, we have two different kinds of expressions. We have numerical expressions, and we have algebraic expressions. Numerical expressions consist of numbers, operations, and groupings. Groupings would be parentheses. Operations are addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, those kinds of things. So, the first thing that we really want to look at when it comes to numerical expressions are powers. A power is an expression formed by the repeated multiplication of the same factor. An example of this would be 2 to the fourth. Now, we would say 2 to the fourth power. This is called a power. I know a lot of people will want to refer to the fourth as the power, but this whole thing really is a power. A power consists of two parts. The first part that it consists of is the base. Now, the base is the big number, and it is the number in the expression. The second part is the exponent. The exponent is the small number that's kind of raised up. Now, the exponent is not exactly what you might think. If you are inclined to be one of the people that would want to multiply 2 times 4 in this case, or add them, or subtract them, or do something like that, that's not correct. That's not the way you deal with a power. What this is literally saying is we have the expression 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That is, we have 2 multiplied together, in this case, 4 times. This is an expression. The operation is multiplication, and the numbers are all 2. Since there are 4 2's in this operation, this is 2 to the fourth power. And just for fun, 2 to the fourth power, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. So 2 to the fourth power equals 16. Now, the next thing when it comes to numerical expressions that we want to deal with are the order of operations. Now, the order of operations you should have seen before. The order of operations tells you how to go about solving or evaluating some numerical expression. Right? We need to know where to start, how to move through it, and where to end. Right? The order of operations follows an acronym that you should know, and it's PEMDAS. P-E-M-D-A-S, PEMDAS. Now, the P stands for parentheses, which we've all seen those. Anything inside parentheses for order of operations should be done first. That means all operations inside the parentheses done before anything outside the parentheses is touched. After the parentheses are done, we move on to the exponents. Any terms that have exponents in them, any powers, need to be taken care of. After we've done both of those, we move on to multiplication and division. Now you'll see that I've put multiplication and division on the same line. And the reason for that is that when we do multiplication and division, we don't do one before the other. We do both of them at the same time. We read left to right, and we do all of the multiplication and division together. After we're done with them, we move on to addition and subtraction. And it's very much the same thing. We read left to right, and we do all of the addition and subtraction at the same time. All right, let's give this a shot. We're going to use PEMDAS to evaluate this numerical expression. I have 1 plus 7 squared times 5 minus 3 in parentheses. All right, the first step would be parentheses. So we have to start with our parentheses. We want to start there. That's these guys here. So what we do is we say, all right, I'm not changing anything else. I'm still going to have 1 plus 7 squared times 5 minus 3. Inside the parentheses is 2. So it will be 1 plus 7 squared times 2. That is all of our parentheses taken care of. Now, according to PEMDAS, the next thing we would want to do would be exponents. So that's our next step. We have one term with an exponent, and that is 7 squared. Well, 7 squared is 49. So 1 plus 49 times 2. Again, nothing else changed, just the exponent. After we're done with that, PEMDAS says we need to deal with the multiplication and division. Now, since there's no division in this particular problem, we're just going to look at multiplication, which we have here. So we're going to multiply. I have 49 times 2. 49 times 2 is 98. So I have 1 plus 98. 1 plus hasn't changed yet because that's addition, and that doesn't come until the end, which, coincidentally, is where we're at now. We have to do one last thing, and that is add. We don't have any subtraction because there is no subtraction in this problem, so once we've added this together, we'll be done. 1 plus 98 is 99. And that is our answer. We're down to a single number. That is how we use the order of operations to find to evaluate a numerical expression.